Brandon's voice was echoing down the hallway, and I swear I heard my wife giggle. Not laugh. Giggle. She doesn't giggle. Not with me. Not anymore. I had just walked back inside, still holding my phone like it might shield me from whatever the hell I was hearing. I'd only stepped out to take a quick work call, literally 5 minutes ago. The call had been awkward, sure. My manager was asking if I could travel to Cincinnati again next month. I'd said yes, thinking it was no big deal. Now I wish I'd just let it go to voicemail. As I walked past the bathroom, someone stumbled out with a beer and barely noticed me. The music was still pulsing, low, rhythmic, and a faint strobe flashed over the stairwell. People were drinking, talking, laughing like everything was normal. Like I wasn't about to open the wrong door and see something that would destroy everything. The guest room door was open maybe 4 inches. Just enough. I didn't mean to look in. I didn't want to look in. But I heard Mindy's voice again. Breathless. Almost whispering. Stop. Someone's gonna hear. And Brandon, this smug, cologne-soaked marketer with a degree in manipulation, said something I'll never forget. He laughed and replied. He just walked out. You've got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I pushed the door open. I wish I hadn't. I really wish I hadn't. There they were. Not fully undressed, but enough. Her blouse undone. His belt off. Her wedding ring. My wedding ring. Sitting on the nightstand next to an empty wine glass. Like it had been part of some joke they were in on. Like I wasn't supposed to come back. Brandon looked up first. Didn't even flinch. Just smirked like he was challenging me to do something. Mindy gasped. Her hand shot out. Like she thought she could block my view or rewind time by waving fast enough. Daryl, wait. I didn't speak. I didn't scream. I turned and walked out of that room and straight into the kitchen. There were 6 people in there. I only recognized 2 of them. One girl was pouring rum into a plant. Another guy was making nachos in the microwave like the world wasn't imploding. And there I was, silent, stunned, just standing there, holding my phone, still connected to the call I'd forgotten to end. My manager was saying, Daryl? Hello? Are you still there? I hung up. 30 seconds later, Mindy came rushing in, hair wild, shirt only halfway buttoned, panic written all over her. She looked me in the eyes and said the one thing I'll never forgive. You weren't supposed to come back so soon. Not I'm sorry. Not this was a mistake. Just that. Like I'd broken the rules of her game. And that was the moment I realized. I wasn't in a marriage. I was in a performance. One where the audience had already left, and I was the only one who thought the play was still going. I didn't walk out of the kitchen dramatically or anything. I just stood there, staring at a bowl of half-crushed tortilla chips while Mindy kept whisper shouting my name like she was trying to reel in a loose balloon before it floated away. I could feel people glancing at us, pretending not to listen but definitely listening. My face was hot, my hands were shaking, and all I could think was, she took her ring off. She actually took it off. When she finally reached me, she grabbed my wrist, her nails digging into my skin like she was mad at me. Daryl, can we talk somewhere private? Her voice wasn't apologetic. It was irritated, like I'd interrupted her yoga class, not caught her practically glued to Brandon in a dark room. I pulled my arm back, and her eyes widened like she couldn't believe I'd dare move away from her. Please don't make a scene, she hissed. A scene? A scene? I'm pretty sure finding your spouse in a half-undressed tangle with a guy who calls everyone brother qualifies as a scene-worthy moment. But apparently, I was breaking some unwritten etiquette. Before I could even answer, the microwave beeped behind us, and the guy making nachos opened the door like he was witnessing a daytime soap episode. He whispered, "Dude, yikes," and Mindy spun around like she wanted to throw the nachos at him. She pulled me toward the hallway again, but this time I didn't move. I'm not going anywhere, I said, voice shaking embarrassingly hard. You don't get to drag me somewhere just so you can lie more quietly. Her jaw tightened. It wasn't what it looked like. There it was. The classic line. The universal anthem of people caught doing exactly what it looked like. I laughed, loud enough that 2 girls near the sink actually flinched. It wasn't a normal laugh, more like the sound someone makes when they stub their toe and smell fire at the same time. You weren't supposed to come back so soon. I repeated her earlier words. Yeah, Mindy, that really cleared it up. She winced like that line hitting her ears was physically painful. Look, Brandon had too much to drink. I was just trying to keep him balanced, steady, emotionally supported on a mattress. I snapped. Your shirt was open. She folded her arms over her chest like that was the shocking part I'd noticed. Can you stop? You're embarrassing yourself. Embarrassing myself. Not herself. Not Brandon. Myself. I felt something in me break a little. Then Brandon walked into the kitchen like he'd just returned from fixing a flat tire rather than destroying someone's marriage. Shirt buttoned wrong, hair messy, smug expression glued to his face like a permanent tattoo. Everything cool here? He asked, looking at Mindy instead of me. Always her. Never me. She actually nodded at him. I've got it handled. Handled. Like I was some workplace complaint she needed to process. That's when something inside me snapped. Not violently, YouTube safe snapped, but emotionally, the kind where a man realizes he has officially become a background character in his own life. I turned toward the front door without another word. Mindy grabbed my arm again, but I shook free. Not forcefully, just enough to make it clear I wasn't her puppet on a string. Daryl, please don't leave, she whispered, but everyone heard it. Heads turned. Whispers followed. Someone even pretended to cough to hide a gasp. I paused with my hand on the doorknob. I didn't leave, I said quietly. You did. And then I walked out. But the shocking part? The part one never expected? She didn't come after me. Not that night. Not the next morning. Not for 3 whole days. And when she finally did, she didn't come alone. I spent the next 3 days in this weird half-fog where everything felt too bright and too quiet at the same time. I stayed at my brother's place, sleeping on a lumpy pull-out couch that felt like punishment, replaying that moment in the guest room over and over until I thought I'd actually lose my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her ring on the nightstand. Every time I woke up, I checked my phone expecting an apology that never came. Not a single text. Not a missed call. Nothing. On the 3rd afternoon, I was microwaving leftover pasta that somehow tasted like betrayal when someone knocked so hard on the apartment door I thought it might crack. My brother glanced at me with raised eyebrows. I already knew who it was. Mindy had a signature knock, firm, impatient, like she was reminding the door who paid the bills. Except when I opened it, it wasn't just her. She'd brought someone with her. And not a friend. Not her sister. No, she brought her mother. If I'd had the emotional energy, I might have laughed. Because of all people on earth, Mindy's mom, Clarissa, is the last person who should ever speak about relationships. She's been married 3 times, divorced 3 times, and currently taking a break from husband number 4 because he doesn't understand her spiritual journey. She once told me emotions were optional if you had the right credit score. But there she was, standing stiffly beside Mindy, arms crossed, wearing sunglasses indoors like she was shielding herself from poor people lighting. And her expression, God, she looked at me as if I'd personally ruined her brunch plans. Mindy spoke first. Daryl, we need to talk. Clarissa chimed in before I could respond. Privately. Her voice had that tone rich people use when telling waiters to take something back. I stepped aside anyway, because I'm a coward, or polite, or both. They walked in like inspectors evaluating a property they already planned to reject. Mindy didn't even sit. She paced, arms crossed, lips pressed so tightly they looked like they were trying to escape her face. Clarissa made herself comfortable on the couch and immediately wrinkled her nose at the fabric. My brother, sensing incoming disaster, grabbed his keys and whispered, "Good luck," before fleeing the apartment like it was on fire. The door clicked shut. Silence. Finally, Mindy turned to me. "Why did you leave the party like that?" I almost choked. "Why did I leave?" "Mindy, I caught you with." She cut me off. "Stop saying it like that. You're making it sound worse than it was." Worse than it was. Seeing your spouse half undressed with a coworker. Somehow, I was exaggerating. I felt my voice crack. "I saw you. I literally saw you." And then, I swear the universe paused so it could appreciate the audacity. Clarissa tilted her sunglasses down, stared at me, and said, "You shouldn't have barged into a private room. That was inappropriate." Inappropriate. My world collapsed, and this woman was lecturing me about door etiquette. I rubbed my forehead. It wasn't a private room. It was our friend's house. And my wife was. "Stop using that word," Mindy snapped. "Wife, like I belong to you. That's manipulative." I stood there speechless, because how do you even respond to that? Clarissa continued. "Mindy told me you've been emotionally neglectful. Distant. Self-absorbed." Me? Neglectful? I'm the guy who spent 2 hours last month trying to fix her curling iron because she said it sparked once. I'm the guy who reordered her favorite brand of cereal when it got discontinued. Self-absorbed? I felt something tighten in my chest. I'm not the one who took my ring off at a party. Mindy froze. For the first time since arriving, she looked actually shaken. Not guilty, just shocked I dared mention it. You weren't supposed to see that, she said quietly, like I'd broken some unspoken rule of voyeurism. Then, because this whole situation wasn't surreal enough, Clarissa sighed dramatically and delivered the sentence that nearly made me walk straight into oncoming traffic. Sweetheart, marriages survive worse things. What matters is that you didn't handle it maturely. You ran off like a child. A child. I was a child for not calmly watching my wife romance another man. My voice cracked again, embarrassingly. So, I'm the problem now? Mindy crossed her arms even tighter, her expression souring. Yes, Daryl. You're blowing everything out of proportion. Brandon and I were just talking. You're the one who turned it into drama. Talking. On a bed. Shirt open. Ring off. 10 minutes. I felt dizzy. And then Mindy dropped the real bomb. If we're going to move forward, you need to apologize to Brandon. I blinked. Apologize to him. For storming in like that and making things awkward, she said. He feels really uncomfortable now. You humiliated him. Humiliated him. Not me. Not our marriage. Not our vows. The guy who unbuckled his belt around my wife felt humiliated. And that was the moment, right there, in my brother's tiny living room, where something dark and cold settled into my bones. If I didn't take control now, I was going to lose myself completely. Everything they said after that blurred together, but one thing was clear. Mindy didn't come to fix our marriage. She came to rewrite the story so that I was the villain and she was the misunderstood victim. But she didn't know something I discovered that morning. Something she hadn't even realized she'd left behind when she stormed out of our house. Something that proved she wasn't just talking to Brandon. The moment they left my brother's place, Clarissa tossing me a look like I'd failed a test I didn't know I was taking, and Mindy muttering something under her breath about getting space, I finally exhaled. It felt like I'd been holding my breath for days. And then I just stood there, alone again, in silence so sharp it buzzed in my ears. I sat down on the couch and let my head fall back. That's when I felt something odd under my leg. Not a lump. A corner. A sharp edge pressing through the cushion. At first, I thought it was a candy wrapper or a receipt. But when I reached under and pulled it out, my chest went tight. It was Mindy's other phone, not her main one. I'd seen her leave the apartment with that still in her purse, but the old one she used to use for work. I thought she'd wiped it months ago. Apparently not. Apparently she'd kept it tucked inside the guest bedroom couch cushion at our place and must have shoved it in here when she came to confront me, then forgot about it. I stared at it for a while. The screen was still faintly cracked in the corner. It was charged, unlocked, no password. I should have put it away. I should have just left it on the counter for her to pick up. But I didn't, because something in me already knew there was more. The messages were still there, hundreds of them. I didn't even have to scroll far. The first thread at the top was labeled, Work Husband Briefcase Red Heart. Brandon. I opened it. There were weeks of messages. No, months. Jokes, flirting, inside references, voice notes, photos, some of them harmless, others not. One image made my throat go dry. Her in a dress I'd never seen before, captioned, Think he'd notice if I wore this under my sweater? Brandon's reply, He doesn't notice you, babe. I do. Another, a screenshot of my text from a few weeks ago, asking if she wanted to have a date night. She'd written, He's trying again, face with rolling eyes. That was the same night she told me she had a migraine and went to bed early. But the worst part, the absolute gut punch, was a voice message from 2 days before the party. Her voice, soft and playful. You better not back out this time. I want you, and I want the guest room. And I don't care if he's in the house. I've waited long enough. I dropped the phone. Actually dropped it. It hit the floor and slid under the coffee table while I just sat there, staring at nothing, every single moment from the past year rewriting itself in my mind. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't confused. She was planning it. That night at the party, that wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment bad decision. It was scheduled, expected, celebrated between them like some disgusting milestone. And now she wanted me to apologize? To Brandon? No, no more. I picked the phone up, placed it in a drawer, and then I did something that felt almost surreal. I opened my laptop, went into our shared cloud account. The one she forgot was synced to her old phone, and began downloading everything. Every message, every image, every note. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew this. I wasn't going to sit quietly and let her twist the story anymore. She wanted to rewrite the past, so I'd show her exactly what the truth looked like. I didn't sleep that night. I sat up staring at that folder on my desktop, full of her messages, pictures, and voice notes, all neatly time-stamped. Part of me still couldn't believe it. Not just the betrayal, but the confidence behind it. The way she planned it with zero hesitation, like I wasn't even part of her life anymore. Like I was some distant ex she hadn't bothered to block. Around 3 a.m., I poured myself a drink. Cheap whiskey, the kind I only buy when I'm falling apart, and I just sat in silence. I kept asking myself the same question over and over again. What do I do with this? I knew better than to post it online. That's not who I am. And I wasn't going to text it to a bunch of friends like some desperate revenge blast. But there was one person I knew I had to send it to. Travis, the guy whose house the party was at. The guy who invited both of us, me and Mindy, trusting us to be, normal. Travis wasn't just a friend. He was Mindy's coworker too. He was also Brandon's roommate. I didn't include everything. I'm not a monster. But I chose 5 screenshots. 5 messages that told the truth, so clearly there could be no confusion. I didn't add any explanation. No, can you believe this? No dramatic text. I just forwarded the images and wrote, "This happened in your guest room." I didn't expect a reply until morning. He responded in 3 minutes. "Are you serious? Is this real? Daryl, this isn't just bad. This is fireable." Fireable. That word stopped me cold. I'd forgotten Brandon and Mindy weren't just emotionally tangled. They were violating a very real workplace policy. Their company had strict rules about fraternization, especially during company-adjacent events. Brandon wasn't just a smarmy creep with too much cologne. He was a liability. And apparently, he'd already been warned once about blurring lines. I told Travis everything. I mean everything. Not in a revengey, dramatic way. Just the plain facts. The months of texts. The photo I found of Mindy wearing a necklace I gave her for our anniversary. In a picture she sent to Brandon captioned, "He'll never know." The messages where she laughed at my attempts to connect with her. The voice note from 2 days before the party, where she practically dared him to cross the line. By sunrise, it was out of my hands. Travis told me HR was getting involved. He said he had no choice. If it ever came out that he knew about this and didn't say anything, he could get pulled into the fallout too. By noon, it was already happening. I got a text from Mindy. The first one in 4 days. "We need to talk. Now." I didn't reply. She called. 5 times. I didn't answer. Then she sent a message I'll never forget. "What did you do?" "Brandon suspended. They took my work laptop. My manager's asking questions. Why would you do this to me?" To her. Like I was the one who cheated. Lied. Laughed behind someone's back for months. And then, one final text, barely coherent. "You ruined everything. And for what?" I stared at that message for a long time. And then I replied, for the first time since the night of the party. For the truth. No threats. No drama. Just the truth. But I knew Mindy, and I knew she wasn't going to let this go. She was going to try to spin this in ways I couldn't even imagine. And I was right. Because that night, she showed up again. Only this time, she wasn't crying. She was smiling. I heard the knock at the door before I saw her. Calm, steady, too soft for a woman whose world should have been collapsing. I didn't move. I just stared at the door, waiting, half hoping she'd give up and leave. But of course, she didn't. Mindy always pushes. She knocked again. Then the doorknob turned, and my stomach dropped. I'd forgotten to lock it. She stepped inside like she still lived there. Not a trace of shame on her face. No puffy eyes, no guilt, no panic. She looked freshly showered, dressed like she was heading to brunch, not walking into the apartment of the husband whose life she just blew to pieces. "Can we talk like adults?" she asked, as if I had been the one acting irrational. I didn't answer. I just watched her. She looked around the living room like she was doing a home appraisal. Then she smiled. Not the warm kind, but the one she uses when she's already decided she's smarter than you. "So," she said, folding her arms, "you told Travis. And now HR's involved. Clever." Still, I didn't speak. She hated that. Silence unnerved her more than shouting ever could. She tilted her head. "You really think you've won something here?" That got me. I stood up. I didn't win anything. You humiliated me. You gaslit me. You made me feel insane while you laughed with Brandon behind my back. Her smile didn't falter. Daryl, everyone knew we were having problems. You've been checked out for over a year. You've barely touched me. You zone out during dinner. You're boring. You think being nice is enough to keep someone happy forever? I actually felt dizzy. So that's the excuse? I'm boring? You made yourself easy to replace, she said with a shrug. And then she dropped the real reason she came. You should know, she said calmly, that I've already spoken to a few people. They're concerned about you. I told them I think you're having some kind of breakdown, that you're making up stories to hurt me because you can't handle a separation. My blood went cold. You're telling people I made this up? I asked, stunned. She stepped closer. Not just people. Our people. Travis, Melissa, Dave, the ones who matter. The ones who'll spread it for me without even realizing it. I felt my knees weaken. She wasn't just trying to defend herself. She was burning the ground around me, so I couldn't stand back up. You're unbelievable, I whispered. No, she said with a smirk. I'm just better at this than you. And then, right before walking out, she leaned in and said the words that flipped a switch in me. People believe the version of the story they hear first. You were too slow. She left before I could reply, but something inside me snapped into focus. I'd been trying to protect her reputation, keep things private, be the bigger person. But now she was turning our mutual friends against me, painting me as unstable, laying the groundwork to make me the villain in a story she wrote. And suddenly, I realized something. If she wanted to play dirty, I had proof she never expected I'd find. And it was going to destroy the image she spent years carefully building. After she left, I didn't move for a long time. Just sat there, staring at the floor, trying to understand how someone I once believed in could twist everything so easily. I'd been stupid, thinking the truth alone would be enough. I thought if people saw what she did, they'd believe me. But Mindy wasn't just cheating. She was strategic, calculated. She didn't come to apologize. She came to control the narrative. And she was already 2 steps ahead. But then I remembered something. Something she definitely hadn't accounted for. Back when we used to share a laptop, the old one she stopped using once she got her fancy new Mac, she'd synced it to her work Google Drive. She meant to disconnect it. She even told me once, remind me to log out of that thing before I forget. But she never did, and I never mentioned it again. Until now, I'd completely forgotten it existed. I powered it on. It took forever to boot up. It sounded like an old fridge coughing its last breath. Once it loaded, I checked the sync folder. It looked empty at first, but then I saw a single folder labeled Q4_pitch materials. And inside that folder were backups. Not just marketing documents, not just spreadsheets, but video files, screenshots, voice memos. One of the videos was time-stamped 2 weeks before the party. I clicked play, and my heart stopped. There she was, in the same brown jacket she wore the night of the party, standing in front of a mirror, holding her phone, practicing. Practicing what to say? Different ways to tell me we were drifting apart. She tried it with a fake sad tone, then a confident one, then a flirty one like she was rehearsing for a casting call. Maybe it's better if we take a break, she said in one take. Let's just agree we're not compatible anymore, in another. And then the one that made my jaw clench. I'm not cheating, Daryl. You're just paranoid again. This is exactly why we're falling apart. She laughed after that one. Laughed, like it was some inside joke with herself. She had planned everything. The fight, the "you're crazy" angle, even the lies she'd plant afterward. She had rehearsed her own gaslighting like it was part of a script. And the file sat there the whole time, untouched, buried in a forgotten drive. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat back and watched the video again. Then I saved it to a private flash drive, made 2 backups, and uploaded a copy to a cloud account Mindy didn't know existed. And then I did something I should have done a long time ago. I sent it to our friends. Not with malice, not to destroy her, but because I was done being painted as the unhinged husband. I was done letting her weaponize my silence. I wrote a short message. Just facts. I didn't want to drag any of you into this. But since Mindy's telling people I'm unstable and making things up, I think it's only fair you see what she recorded herself. That was it. No threats. No anger. Just the truth, the real version, finally in the open. Within an hour, I got my first reply. Then another. Then 6 more. By the end of the night, The group chat Mindy once dominated had gone completely silent. No more laughing emojis. No more defending her. She hadn't just lost control of the story. She'd lit the match, and now the whole mask was on fire. It was raining. Of course it was. The kind of slow, constant drizzle that makes the world feel heavier. I was sitting by the window, sipping coffee I'd made just for myself. No second mug, no sugar on the side, no one to roll their eyes at how I always overfill the cup. Just me. Quiet. Finally. Then came the knock. Not loud. Just enough. I knew it was her before I opened the door. Mindy was standing there, soaked. No umbrella, mascara streaking lightly beneath her eyes. For once, she didn't look rehearsed. There was no designer coat, no smug tilt to her head. Just a woman who looked lost. "Can I come in?" she asked softly. I didn't answer right away. I stepped back and let her inside. She stood awkwardly near the doorway, like she didn't remember how to exist in this space anymore. "I saw the video," she finally said. "The one I recorded. I forgot that even existed." I waited. She looked around like the apartment felt foreign now. And maybe it did. "They're not talking to me anymore," she said quietly. "Travis, Melissa, even my sister. No one will return my calls. They think I'm," her voice cracked. "They think I'm disgusting." I said nothing. I wasn't going to make it easier. Not this time. She turned to face me, tears finally breaking through. "I didn't come here to make excuses. I came here because I ruined everything. You were boring, yes. But boring is safe, and kind, and real, and I threw that away for attention." Still, I said nothing. I let her sit in it. "I miss you," she whispered. "And if there's any chance, any tiny chance, that you could forgive me, I'd do anything." There it was. The grand gesture. The late apology. I finally see what I had speech. It used to be all I wanted. Weeks ago, I'd have done anything to hear those words. But now I saw clearly. I stood up and walked to the drawer. The one where I used to keep her spare key. I opened it. Empty. Then I walked to the door and held it open. "I wish you the best, Mindy," I said. "Truly. But I'm not coming back." She didn't move at first. Just stared at me like she didn't understand. Then her lips parted like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. She nodded, slowly. And for once, she didn't slam the door on the way out. She just left. 2 months later, I met someone. Not planned. Just a chance conversation at a bookstore over the last copy of a terrible thriller. Her name was Hallie. She laughed at my dumb jokes. She didn't roll her eyes when I talked about my weird obsession with documentary films. She didn't text someone else when I was sitting right next to her. It's early. We're still figuring each other out. But I'll say this. I don't feel invisible anymore. Not boring. Not background. Not like a second choice. Just seen. And that's the ending I never expected, but absolutely deserve.